Right now, there is a massive, a massive disconnect between the mainstream media and normal people. There is zero trust in the media. And I'm talking about all the media. I'm not just talking about the woke media, which makes up 95% of it. Trust in Fox News is declining. I'm starting to lose faith in the New York Post. The media has made it abundantly clear who they are favoring in the upcoming presidential election. Now, the woke media, of course, they are pretending to support John Biden. They are pretending that Cam Harris is a real vice president instead of the beacon for affirmative action. Cam Harris is proof that dreams do come true. All you had to do to make it in America is belong to multiple marginalized groups. Fox News and the New York Post, they are supporting Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. The other day, I referenced an article from the New York Post which claimed that Nikki Haley won the third Republican debate. I guess they think we're stupid. I guess the media thinks that we don't have eyes and ears, or maybe they just knew that no one was watching this debate, so they could frame the narrative of their choosing and people would just believe it. But let me tell you how out of touch the mainstream media is with normal people. Earlier this week, Patrick Bet-David, he conducted a poll on social media, had over 150,000 respondents. He asked one simple question: who won the Republican debate Wednesday night? Now remember, the media, they are claiming that Nikki Haley won this debate. According to this poll, normal people, 80% of normal people, they said Vivek Ramaswamy won this debate. Over the past couple of days, I have been thinking about why the media is completely against Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, from the woke media's perspective, this doesn't make any sense. These are the same people who are obsessed with mythical racism. You would think deacons at Woke United Methodist are spanking the wanker because Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't choose to identify as the white man. Now, from the perspective of conservative media, you would think that Vivek Ramaswamy is the candidate they would get behind. This dude is a star. No disrespect to Ron DeSantis. He's been excellent as the governor of Florida. DeSantis, he was one of the first real leaders to fight back against the Fauci fungus. Ron DeSantis, he is a great governor, but he just doesn't have what it takes to generate national interest, mainstream appeal. This dude has the charisma of a potted ficus. From a distance, it's real nice to look at. For a moment, it's relaxing to throw some water on it and watch it slowly grow. But after about 5 minutes, it becomes painfully boring. Ron DeSantis, he's got a great record. On paper, he is the best candidate on the debate stage. But every time he opens his mouth, the newest darling on both sides of the media is Nikki Haley. All of a sudden, both sides of the media, they are fawning all over Nikki Haley. Why? Nikki Haley is another charisma vacuum. She sucks the charisma out of the room faster than the bruised boodle consumes the preparation H. Now, this is pure speculation on my part, but I think the reason that Fox News and the New York Post are suddenly supportive of Nikki Haley, corruption. Just look it up for yourself. Look into Nikki Haley's relationship with Boeing. Look into her private defense contracting firm. Look into the millions and millions of dollars that she has made after she left office in South Carolina. It's absolutely amazing how these politicians can go into their positions basically broke and they come out millionaires. Now, in his defense, I don't think Ron DeSantis is corrupt. I actually feel bad for him because I don't think he really wanted to run for president. I think he was given bad advice. I think he was pressured to run by the RNC and their corrupt pretend leader, Ronna McDaniel. Now, some in conservative media, they are supporting Chris Christie. I really don't understand why. The only thing Chrissy is going to win is the donut eating competition with the donut diva Brian Stelter. And poor Tim Scott, another candidate with two first names. Poor Tim Scott. He's got some good ideas, but no one gets to hear them because no one's paying attention to him. Now that Mike Spence has bowed out of this election, translation, Spencer ran out of money, but now that he has re-entered unemployment, Tim Scott is the most irrelevant candidate on stage. It makes absolutely no sense why conservative media is not getting behind Vivek Ramaswamy. And when I look at these debate ratings, the message is abundantly clear. America is rejecting who the mainstream media is supporting. Through the first 4 debates in 2016, the networks, they were averaging around 19 million viewers. The debate on NBC Wednesday night, 6.8 million. Where in the hell did 13 million people go? The reason they were pulling millions of viewers 7 years ago, there was a superstar on stage, Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump, he has been skipping these debates because there's really no reason for him to attend. But there is a superstar on stage, but for some reason, the mainstream media refuses to get behind him. Why? Why do you think that is? I mean, it feels like the media is trying to bury Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he's got the mainstream media shook. They are afraid of this dude because Vivek Ramaswamy, he refuses to play by their rules. He refuses to conduct himself by their guidelines. He refuses to acknowledge our standards of decorum. In other words, Vivek Ramaswamy's not afraid to speak the truth, something that the mainstream media is allergic to. These people break out into hives when they are confronted with the truth. I'm telling you right now, the biggest fear in the mainstream media is the pairing of Vivek Ramaswamy and Donald Trump. I'll explain why. Donald Trump, he's got the older vote locked up. People over the age of 55, they are voting for Donald Trump regardless. But the media, they have been able to successfully discredit Donald Trump when it comes to millennials and younger voters. Those same millennials and younger voters, they can relate to Vivek Ramaswamy, which is why the mainstream media is doing their best to discredit him. And they are receiving the assistance of the leader of the RNC, Ronna McDaniel. The media, they can relate to Ronald. The only reason she is holding this position is because she is the niece of the softest, weakest presidential candidate in my lifetime, Mitt Romney. As you guys know, the media, they love people who are given powerful positions they haven't earned. Ronna McDaniel has been absolutely atrocious as the leader of the RNC. 2018 midterms, loser. 2020 election, loser. Remember last year when Ronald was promising normal people that we were going to see a red wave? Join the red wave, jump on Ronald's cape as she parts the Red Sea. Ronald had her buddies at Fox News promoting this red wave. Every night, Sean Hannity, he was talking about this red wave as his makeup artist was applying red lipstick. Whatever happened to the red wave? I guess Ronald should have called Moses and asked for some assistance because it never happened. 2022, loser. Earlier this week, there were several elections across the country. Once again, under the leadership of Mitten's niece, the Republican establishment, losers. I'm with Vivek Ramaswamy on this one. It's time for some accountability here. This party is in desperate need for a change in leadership. The Republicans, they are in desperate need of a real leader. They need a complete change in mentality. Think about it. What did Deion Sanders do when he took over at Colorado? This program has been losing for decades. Colorado hasn't been relevant since the early to mid-90s. As soon as Deion Sanders arrived, he cleans house, got rid of the cancer, got rid of the losing mentality. Vivek Ramaswamy, he is trying to do the same thing with the Republican Party. Problem is, they don't want change. Fox News doesn't want change. The New York Post doesn't want change. They want to remain with the status quo. Remove Vivek Ramaswamy from the debate stage the other night and compare these other 4 candidates. Tell me the difference between them. How is Ron DeSantis different from Nikki Haley, besides the obvious gender difference? How is Nikki Haley different from Chris Christie? Hell, they both wear the same size bra. All of these candidates are the same, which is exactly what the establishment wants. They want someone they can control. They want someone who is reliant on them for money. They want someone who will fall in line, which is the main reason why Vivek Ramaswamy has them shook. Ronna McDaniel, she is scared right now because Vivek Ramaswamy is calling for her to resign and people are fully supporting it. Last night, Ronald took a break from flipping burgers and joined Laura Ingraham on Fox News. Laura Ingraham asked her one simple question. Ronald, you are a proven huge embarrassing failure. Your level of failure makes Bomani Jones look like a success. Why should you keep the job that Mittens gave you? Now, this should have been a very simple question to answer, pretty direct. If someone were to ask me why I should keep my position here on YouTube, I wouldn't have to deflect. I wouldn't have to skate around the answer. My record speaks for itself. You can't find this content anywhere else because I'm the only person who can be me. We intersect sports and politics. We dissect the mainstream media. We're not afraid to call out the bullshit. We're not afraid to say that Leah Thomas and the supersized propeller have absolutely no business competing against women. When someone is a huge embarrassing failure, we call them a huge embarrassing failure. There is no politeness here. There are no pleasantries on this channel. I call everything exactly how I see it. Sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right, all the time I'm honest. Laura Ingraham asked Ronna McDaniel why she should keep her job as the leader of the RNC. Now, instead of just answering the question, she borrowed a strategy from Hill Clinton and utilized the art of deflection. You know, Laura, that's a great question, but by the way, did you know we are now serving the supersized Frank along with the supersized fry at McDonald's? Watch for yourself.
Well, first, I'm going to continue to focus on Joe Biden and Democrats. And I think there was a moment missed during that debate by Vivek to talk about the fact that we still have 13 American hostages in Israel, the fact that for the first time ever in the history of either party, we had a Jewish co-sponsor for a debate, and we are in very perilous times in our country.
All that you just said, I couldn't agree with more. But and you're right. I mean, obviously that should be a key focus. But I know you believe in accountability. You talk about it all the time. I mean, everyone. I mean, I'm accountable.
So
you're right.
Some accountability.
Okay, that's what I asked you, and you went into another, another
but I was going to go there. Sorry, I took too long on the answer, but I was getting there. I'm not trying to avoid anything. Let me promise you that, Laura. Listen, when Vivek didn't vote in 2016, I was leading Michigan to the first win in history in 30 years. In 2018, we defied the odds. We got 3 senators, people like Josh Hawley, that allowed President Trump to build the largest conservative majority on the Supreme Court.
I will give some credit to Laura Ingraham for at least trying to get Ronna McDaniel to answer that question, but she never did. I don't like telling people how to do their jobs. Laura Ingraham has way more experience than I do when it comes to hosting a cable news show. But these people like Ronna McDaniel, they're allowed to get away with this bullshit because these hosts are way too nice. As soon as Ronna McDaniel began deflecting, I wanted to see Laura Ingraham interrupt her and say, answer the damn question. I don't give a shit about Vivek Ramaswamy's voting history. I don't care about the exciting new additions on the menu at McDonald's. Answer the question. Why should you keep your job with your track record of being a huge embarrassing failure? The reason Ronna McDaniel didn't answer the question, she can't. There is no answer. Vivek Ramaswamy has these people shook. Anytime the media is going after someone this hard, anytime the establishment is trying to discredit someone, you gotta ask why. The reason they are trying to discredit Vivek Ramaswamy, he is putting a giant spotlight on their corruption. As soon as you turn the light on, the roaches scatter, and these people are scattering. This dude has them scared. The nightmare scenario for the establishment is the pairing of Vivek Ramaswamy and Donald Trump. That team is unbeatable. And that's going to be the ticket in the Republican Party. Like I told you guys the other day, Vivek Ramaswamy, he is not running for president. He's running for vice president. Have you guys noticed that Donald Trump has been on his best behavior throughout this campaign? Donald Trump, I think, is trying to appeal to the masses. He's trying to appeal to the female voters that were turned off by his mean tweets. Trump is going to work to appeal to the masses, while Vivek Ramaswamy is the young, energetic vice president who calls out the bullshit. This same formula actually worked in 2016, but the roles were reversed. Donald Trump was calling things out, and Mike Spence was completely useless. Anyway, give me your thoughts on this. Republican debate on NBC draws, I think it was record low ratings. They were almost beaten by the CMT awards. Normal people are rejecting these candidates, and the media wants you to believe that Vivek Ramaswamy is being rejected, and he's not. Patrick Bet-David, like I said, conducted that poll. 150,000 respondents. 80% said Vivek Ramaswamy won that debate. Who did the media claim won the debate? Nikki Haley. This is exactly what I'm talking about with the disconnect. The mainstream media is completely out of touch with you and me. But give me your thoughts on all this. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate you guys and your continued support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.